Hello, Earth to Randy.
Randy reporting in.
Randy, welcome.
Howdy.
So nice to have you here on 11th Hour Radio today.
Well, it's lovely to be here on a sunny, cold but sunny morning.
Yeah, you don't look at all like Emily, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and did you like my Superman costume?
Oh my gosh, I've been watching it for weeks. I've been enthralled with it.
Yeah, I wore it today for the the listeners.
Yeah. And where did you get that costume?
I was at the thrift shop in South Royalton.
No.
Yeah, it was there, and maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and Raylene said, "You should wear this, Randy. You should wear this." So I was like, "Yeah, whatever," and I didn't take it, but I went back like a week later. It was still there, and she said, "You should take this." So I did, and I wore it for Halloween a couple times. One time I wore it to a friend of mine had a divorce, and it was not an amicable thing, and she wanted me to pick her up at the Rutland train station. She was going to spend the weekend. So I said, I'll wear the Superman suit. That'd be kind of funny. So I put the Superman suit on, and I drove to Rutland, and it was snowing. And up near north of Bridgewater, or west of Bridgewater, there was a car off the road. A truck had spun around out into a cornfield. It wasn't down a bank or anything. It was just sitting there in the snow. And I'd totally forgotten I was wearing a Superman costume. So I'm pulling up. I stop, and the guy is sitting there. The door's open, and he's. It seemed like everything was fine, but I stopped, got out of the car, stood there for a second. He said, "We're okay. I already called it in. Tow truck's coming. We're good. Thanks a lot." I said, "Okay." I got back in the car and drove away. And then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. What are these guys thinking? The Superman just showed up to see if they're all right."
Oh, man. Well, I guess maybe if they were from out of state, they thought that's how we deal with emergencies in Vermont. We send Superman.
Yeah, we called it in and Superman showed up.
Yeah. That's just how we do it here.
But it was great. When I went to Berlin, when I got to Rutland and picked her up, I just stood there with my hands on my hips, like my pointed elbows, like Superman does. And I didn't talk to anybody. They all wanted to take my picture, but she came off the train and she saw me and she went into this swoon. Like she put her hand on her forehead and tilted back and was like she was going to faint. And I raced over and I picked her up and I carried her to the car. And all these people were applauding. It was like a little street theater, totally impromptu. It was funny.
Gosh, and it's all because that suit was found at the South Royalton thrift stop.
Yeah. Oh, it's been at a couple different places. Oh, I wore it one time at the first day of school, the Sharon Academy. I climbed up on the roof of the school and I stood on the apex of the roof. And I got up there at 8 o'clock because I thought that's when the kids were coming. And no, I guess it was 8:30. But that particular day, they start at 9. I didn't know that. So I'm balancing on the peak of the roof.
For an hour?
And this woman, the teacher came out, and she said, Randy, you know the kids don't get here for another half an hour. And I was like, oh man,
no.
I'm not climbing back down again. I'm going to wait. So I just waited up there. And then all the kids showed up. It was pretty funny. A lot of good pictures. And a lot of the kids now say, I remember that. 5 years or 4 years later. But
that's great.
So now it's my my Bernie superhero costume.
And when did that dawn on you that that's going to be the new use?
Yeah, the new use or the new you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to the Trump rally in Burlington with my son Simon, and I didn't intend on going in. I just wanted to go and support Vermont and Bernie, really. His hometown, Trump shows up. So I said, I'll wear the Superman costume and I'll bring a sign to say something. I don't know. And then I got up there and I had the sign made, but I didn't have anything written on it. I had a big marker. So I just wrote, Bernie's my superhero. And, I thought it was going to be kind of a lighthearted statement, a statement, but not like not shouting, just comical and friendly in a way. And it certainly worked out to be that, but I was totally overwhelmed by the amount of people who want to take my picture. I walked down Church Street from the parking lot, and lots of people took my picture before I even got to the rally, and I was like, "Uh-oh, this is going to be crazy.
This is going to be big."
And it was nonstop. Once I got to the rally, it was just nonstop people taking my picture.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, there are not a lot of photo opportunities at that type of event. If you can't see the candidate, right, you're never going to see Trump.
Yeah,
outside the Flynn.
Nobody saw him. Yeah.
No, it's just a bunch of people standing around. So of course you would be, you would be a special feature.
Yeah, I had like 7 or 8 different news organizations talk to me, like the Boston Globe and the New York Times.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how
Post.
far that photo went from there that night.
Well, it was not just a photo, but I was interviewed by everybody. Yeah, anybody who had a camera or a microphone. So, I'm only bragging because this is what I did for Bernie, which I think is awesome. It was not like about me or Superman. It just was, I got on the front page of the Woodstock Standard a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Front page, above the fold, in color, picture of me holding a Bernie Sanders sign. So, if you'd called the Standard and said, listen, we want to put a front page ad on your paper, full page, above the fold, color, says Bernie Sanders, go, rah, rah. How much would that be? And they said, well, we can't do that for you. We don't do that. And even if you could afford it, we were not going to do it. I didn't pay for that. That's free.
Yeah. So this is working out pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was in the Free Press and the Vermont, the Montpelier Bridge, it's called.
Yeah, that's a great paper.
Yeah, I was
weekly.
in there, and I was in 7 Days, and the New York Times, the Boston Globe, the Washington Post, and then I went to the Bernie rally in Hanover, and the same kind of thing happened. There was less Trump supporters there. Maybe a lot less.
Yeah, probably.
But I still got interviewed a lot. And the woman from the Boston Globe asked me, why are you wearing a Superman outfit? And I said, well, it turns out that it's a media magnet, and I get to say what I think. And she's like, oh, yes. Okay, then she started asking me questions. Yeah. I didn't actually tell any of the other media people that because I thought that was a little snarky. But it's really, it really kind of dawned on me at that point that that's what it was, is if you want to get attention.
Yeah. Did you get any difficult questions that you had a hard time answering from media?
No, not really. They're pretty basic, and they only had a few minutes to devote to me, so they were looking for sound bites. The guy from the Washington Post, after the Bernie rally, he talked to me for 15 minutes. He's a science writer, and he talked to me for 15 minutes, and finally I said, so are you getting anything out of this? He kept asking me questions about science. He wanted something. I think he was like fishing for some kind of an angle for a story or
about science.
He's a science writer.
Yeah,
but he's showing up at a Bernie rally. So he was asking me what I thought about climate change and what Bernie was going to be doing about that. And
I see.
So he didn't ask me any of the regular questions, all science oriented things. And a lot of the stuff he was asking me, I said, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but it makes sense to me that would be a bad thing. So I'm perfectly willing to agree with a scientist who says that is a bad thing. I'm not going to go like, hey, well, I don't believe that crap.
Yeah.
Are you a scientist? No, but I just don't,
Well, you know what you could have talked to him about? If you were kind of fishing for science topics that relate to Vermont, you could have told him about all the mineral deposits in Vermont, such as gold. Right? Randy has a very blank look on his face. Now, okay, let me back up a little bit.
Like Sutter's Mill?
What's that?
No, that's the.
Is that like Boone Farms?
No, Sutter's Mill. That was the California Gold Rush. That's where it started.
But wait, isn't there some bad wine called Sutter or Sutton?
There's probably a lot of bad wine.
I think there is, but it's the kind that you can buy in the milk department. The milk department at the convenience store.
I just want a little
You know
more
what I'm
volume.
saying? You want more volume in your headphone?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell me that on the air. That's
I
fine.
can?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're this one. Let's see. How's that? Is that working?
Yeah, that's better. Can I get another donut?
I'm sorry. You didn't bring me one, so I'm not going to go out and get you any right now. But no, what I discovered this week was that there are two precious things that have been mined in Vermont. What was the other one? It was gold and something else.
Copper.
Yeah, that's it. Copper.
Yeah, a lot of copper.
Good. So you know about
mine.
that.
Yeah, the Elizabeth mine and Ely.
Exactly. And let me look at my notes here because
that was devastating. You seen pictures from the old days when they had that mine?
Yeah.
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 The smelting process apparently creates so much acid in the air that it just it defoliated everything within miles.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I knew
it was
that there
a wasteland.
was. I
awesome.
see. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, the Chateauguay used to have a lot of gold mines. And the reason I know that is because we went on a little adventure last week to the Chateauguay.
I saw something about that.
Yes, my friends Davey and
Did
John.
everybody come back?
Everybody came back alive.
Did you count?
Yeah, there were three of us.
You
it was
counted
easy.
when you got back?
Yeah. We said, okay, we're going to do a head count when we get back to the truck.
Sound off.
Yeah. So everybody made it back, and we all made it out of there. But I was very curious because Davey had done some research, and he found out that there were gold mines. In fact, we were trying to find some kind of building that related to the gold mines, a crusher. I think it was a crusher.
Oh, so it was a significant...
It
wasn't just panning in the
exactly
streams.
Because those are the two different ways in Vermont and maybe everywhere that you can mine for gold. Either you pan in the rivers or you dig it up. And here's the fun fact: is that there are veins of gold in quartz sometimes.
Yeah.
But the amount of labor that it takes to break open quartz and extract gold is probably not worth it for the amount that you get.
Yeah, there's a chemical process they do now, too.
Ew, yuck.
It's
I bet
awful.
that's pretty toxic.
It's just horrible. They crush it and then they run it through something like cyanide. I don't know what it is, but it's something that then leaches into the groundwater.
Wow, so that's an improvement, I guess.
It's better just to shovel it into a pan and swish it around.
I think so.
Yeah.
In fact, John had done that. He'd done a bunch of gold panning.
Did you find any?
He has found some in Vermont, yeah.
Huh. Mm-hmm. My kids used to do that in a little stream behind our house.
Did they get any?
No, they didn't get any gold at all. They got garnets.
Ooh.
You know, the little tiny black garnets, like maybe a 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah, love garnets.
They would load up the pan full of muck and swish it around just like you were panning for gold, and the garnets would be the thing that would stay in. I think they're probably more dense, but they're also they're round, and they roll around in the pan instead of sliding out the side like all the other things.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they'd end up with a little jar full of just pure granite.
Oh, that's really
garnets.
fun.
Oh, they loved it. They spent days out there in the summer panning for garnets.
I went to an inn over in the Adirondacks a few years ago that was called Garnet Hill Lodge. And up on top of the hill above the inn, there was this big area where they had mined garnets. And you could find hunks of rock.
What did they mine that for? What do you know?
I can't remember.
And if they're tiny like these are, then they don't use them for jewelry. But I've seen them.
There's some uses of garnets industrially, I think, or
I guess there's used to make sandpaper.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sandpaper. Yeah.
So it's really harsh. Crush it up. It's sharp.
It's sharp and hard and. Mm-hmm.
I have a garnet that's like 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
That you found?
Somebody gave it to me. They'd bought it at a rock shop or something. I don't know where it came from.
Have you been to the rock shop in Stockbridge?
Mm-hmm.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's still open, I think. I haven't been there for maybe 20 years.
Yeah, that's when I was there. We probably were the same day.
No. Every time I go by it, I'm like, man, we should go back there sometime. And the years go by, but
yeah, the problem is I like every rock I find. I already have rocks. I even have firewood. I have chunks of firewood in my office that are just
really,
yeah,
like your favorites. You save your favorites.
Well, the one
like what?
I have one that is split in a certain way with a knot in a certain place that it looks like a gray whale with its mouth open, swimming around catching plankton.
And you felt like that was worth saving.
Yeah, and
obviously.
I have a little doll on top of it. It looks like Jonah.
Wow.
I have others that just have interesting shapes. Like a crotch that's split open that has that curly in it, and just so beautiful.
Sure.
So
yeah.
So I collect wood and
okay.
rock. I collect wood and rocks. It's a lot cheaper than bobblehead dolls and things.
Yeah, and you're a woodworker, so I can see why you might have a keen eye for pieces of wood that were special, right?
That's why the barn's full of that stuff.
Do you like perils? Do you collect those?
I have some, but I stopped collecting them because
it filled up your third outbuilding.
Yeah, I used to. When I was a young woodworker, I would think that there's, and I met some of these guys, some of these old woodworkers who had, the upstairs of their barn was filled with all this awesome wood that was so beautiful they never could use it, and then they'd die, and I'd end up getting some of that wood, and where'd you get that? I got it from this old guy. He died. Well, it's all in my attic in my barn now. So I'm 60, but so people have to wait a little while. But at some point, somebody's like, this old woodworker, he's all this crap, and some of it's really good.
Yeah,
we're going to put it in our barn and keep it for 40 years, and then I got some wood that's.
Where does the old wood go from the old woodworkers?
I have some pieces of wood that are probably milled out 150 years ago.
Really?
That I just can't use because they're so beautiful, and they still have the marks on them from the up and down mill, non-circular saw. So it's cut in a brook.
I got an idea. Why don't you start a wood museum?
Yeah, just with wood?
Yeah.
Huh. I already have that, I think. I just don't have
No, but you need the museum part.
I don't have the lobby where they take tickets, money.
Right. You could polish up all those pieces and just display all the most beautiful pieces of wood in Vermont in your museum.
Yeah.
And you'd probably get people a lot of people coming to see it. But then you wouldn't be able to pass it along to your... Well, I guess you could. I guess you could pass the museum along.
Pass the whole museum along,
yeah. I don't know. Somebody hasn't done it yet, so I think you might need more to do.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you're not like jumping to get a pencil.
I have one in my pocket.
You do.
But I think I can remember that one idea.
Okay. Museum.
If there's any other ideas that show up, I'm going to have to write them both down.
All right.
So far, I've got that one.
Okay, how about, did you celebrate Candlemas Day?
No.
No? You didn't? You seem like the kind of guy that might.
That was Groundhog Day? Or...
How'd you know that? See, I didn't even know when it was. I had to look it up. It just popped into my head. Candlemas Day, half your wood and half your hay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I always say Groundhog Day, but...
You can say both.
Yeah, well, So what is Candlemas? That's a pagan holiday, or is it the mass part makes me think it's like Christmas, Candlemas.
It's like St. Swithins.
There's a saint involved?
St. Swithins? Candlemas?
But what was it before the saints?
I don't know.
It was probably,
I'm talking to somebody who's...
probably a pagan ritual for middle. It's the middle between the equinox and the solstice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And do you know about St. Swithins?
No.
That was the one that first popped into my head, so I had to go look that up, and then I realized that St. Swithins was not the same thing as Candlemas, but St. Swithins is July 15th, and if it rains on St. Swithins, it blesses your apples.
July 15th, so June, no, that's not halfway between anything.
Well, here's the little rhyme that goes with it. It says, St. Swithins Day if thou dost reign for 40 days, it will remain. St. Swithins Day, if thou be fair, for 40 days 'twill rain no more. Or nay mare, if you're saying it in Old English.
Nay mare.
Yeah. So I thought you just might need to know that.
All those saints, they swithined all the holidays from the pagans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah.
All the best ones.
The good ones, yeah.
Yeah, the really good ones. Yeah.
That will lead into the topic of, I think it's kind of interesting. You know, you have you have a day, one day, which is the revolution of the Earth once, right? You have a lunar month, which is something that relates to a revolution, and a year, which relates to a revolution. All are increments of something. Full
roundness.
Increment. Yeah, but then you have a week. What's that about?
What are we going around and coming
week?
back to?
Who decided 7? They want 4 Saturdays every time you go around the moon. The moon, you know. So the 7 does it. The 7.
Well, there's the
days
there's
in a
the
week doesn't
biblical
make any
7, isn't there? That the Lord invented the world in 7 days. Isn't that correct?
Oh, maybe that's where it all came from.
And on the
Lord.
7th day, the Sabbath. I don't know. I am no historian.
So that was where the week came from, huh? The 7 days.
Perhaps. Yeah, why couldn't it be
9
8?
days. Yeah.
9.
Or it
8.
could have been metric, you know, it could have been 10.
Then how many work days out of the week?
Would have divided. If it was metric, you'd have to divide it into 10 again. So
We'd have longer
you
weekends.
have a deca week. And a deca week and a kilo week.
All right.
A year would be kilo week.
Mega week.
Oh my God!
Oh gosh.
I'm not a vacation and a deca week.
And on that happy note, let's see. It's time to play a track of music.
Oh.
What do I have here? I have something I just thought you would like.
Is it the Up in the
I picked it for
Superman
you.
one?
No, it's called Good Folks Behind You, and it was recorded for rural Vermont.
Oh.
Let's see if we can get it going here. Let's see here.
All right, I'm going to take off my Superman costume now. It's
Okay.
getting hot.
All right.
Worked all day, didn't get a thing done. Try to tell you I had a little fun. Cooped up indoors, out in the hot sun. Sure makes a difference when you're not afraid to run. Hard to say no when I wanna say yes. Working all the time with a little time to rest. Hard to say no when I should have said yes. Keep on moving with little time to rest. When living your life feels like a small crime, take one step, one breath at a time. Keep on wishing that the world's a little kinder. Kinda hard to quit with good folks behind you. Hard to say no when I wanna say yes. Working all the time with little time to rest. Hard to say no when I should have said yes. Keep on moving with little time to rest. Look up at the gold dome, down at the dirt road. Season come and the sessions go round. If it wasn't for the land, wasn't for the farmer, I'd pack it all up, move where it's warmer. Hard to say no when I wanna get a yes. Working all the time with little time to rest. Hard to say no when I should have said yes. Keep on moving with little time to rest.
There you have it. good folks behind you. That was Jonathan Falby and Zac Johnson, 2 farmers in the area who created that music for rural Vermont and for our enjoyment. There you have it.
Very nice. Like the squeeze box.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
That just is cheerful.
Yeah.
That's why God made the accordion. God, who's God? I don't know who God is. But...
I saw a picture online the other day of an accordion that looked like there was a hose coming off of it. It was connected to a flat tire.
Yeah. I bet that would work.
Well, I wasn't sure whether they were trying to pump up the tire or whether they were using the air in the tire to play the accordion.
Oh.
No, it was supposed to be pumping it up, I'm sure.
Okay.
But I play squeeze box.
Which kind?
The English concertina.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. It's you can play a lot of fiddle tunes on it, but you can lie down in a hammock and do it. It's hard to play a fiddle in a hammock.
So it's a lazy man's accordion.
Oh, definitely lazy. It's only got one note per button, though. See, the accordions, have like 4 or 6, depending if you put how many stops you click. You hit one note on the accordion, and it sounds like a chord. One note.
But I thought accordions have 2 sides, so one has the chords and the other has the notes.
Yeah, but
for a melody.
A lot of them, if you push the button, you are playing the note in tune, but then there's like a note on either side of it that's playing along, and depending on how the word is wet, depending on how wet it is, how far apart those notes are. Like a Cajun accordion is wet, has that kind of ragged sound, kind of vibrates a lot. Whereas
what is the wetness referring to in that case?
It's referring to how many cents off from the
like the actual
tone.
Musical interval. So it's a bigger interval.
It's a bigger interval, yeah. That's
cool.
Yeah, it gives that. The Cajun accordion has that. You play one note and it's just kind of like I don't know. I hate to say grating sound, but it is.
Wow, I didn't know that. I'm going to go check that out now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the sound of Cajun music, but I never really pinpointed the quality of the accordion in that music. So
it has a lot to it. My accordion only has one note. There's one reed.
One note
per button. Yeah, it's so easy to play. Anybody can do it. Any fool can do it. I can even do it myself. This is a musical instrument
for anybody. Anybody can play. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not that easy. I know. I don't think I'd be good at accordion. It's something I've never tried, but my grandmother played.
I don't know if I could handle the bigger ones, the big piano or accordions.
They're heavy.
They're very heavy. This one's really nice. It fits in a box. I don't know. It's like 10 inches square.
It's portable.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
I just wanted to go back to the Chateauguay thing because I'm a little obsessed this week with it.
The gold part? You got gold fever?
Well, it wasn't just the gold part. It was the mystery of that whole wilderness area. But one thing that I did demystify was how to spell the word. Okay, without thinking too hard, just spell it. Spell Chateauguay.
Oh, I almost got when you said spell it, I was going to go IT.
Oh God, you would have had every right to do that.
I really have a hard time spelling anything, so you're not the right person. But I'll just say
okay.
CHATQUGUE.
That's great. I love that. I love that you tried so hard.
I didn't try very hard. I just
and
did
failed.
I always like to fail, but if I fail, I like to fail very well.
Yes, you did. No, but I have never been able to spell this word. So I sat down the other day and I looked at it and I thought, what is the trick? What's the key to remembering this? And for everybody who's listening, this is the trick. The first half of the word is the word chateau, which of course is French for castle.
Oh.
So chateau is, if you know how to spell that, to me that was easier. So CHATEAU, chateau. Oh. Chateau. And then the Guy part is GUAY, which should be like Paraguay.
That's exactly what I said.
Did you?
No.
I wasn't listening, frankly, because I knew you were going to say it wrong. So I just said, just jump in there and tell him he's saying it wrong. So anyway, but so we found, this is the weird thing. Davey had just written a song about the Chateauguay, and he had made up a story about a guy and a cemetery. It was kind of a scary song. Well, we got out of the truck. We had parked our truck on Bridgewater Hollow, and we walked up into the woods. Frankly, we just started in. And within the first 10 minutes, we were at a cemetery in the woods, and it was called Angel Cemetery.
So there's no road there? You weren't following an old road? Or you were?
No, there was a bit of a woods road into there, but we went off it and we hit the cemetery, which was kind of miraculous, and at least in our minds it was. And then from there we just headed up into the woods, which I don't normally do that. I'm not a big bushwhacker, as I've said on this show before. I don't know how to use a compass, and so I like to stick to trails, but these guys like to just go into the woods and leave it all behind. So I followed with my ice cleats on, because it was before, this recent snow has made it easier to walk around in the woods. Actually, a few days ago, it was maybe a dusting of snow on top of a very icy crust.
Now it's just deceptive.
It's still slippery.
I think it is.
Probably underneath there. Yeah. So either skis. Well, now you could probably use skis, but it was ice cleats. And I think we ended up somewhere just below the rim of the pinnacle, just south of the lookout, Lucy's Lookout, which is actually in Bridgewater.
Yeah. So then you walk back?
Yeah, we just traced our steps. I probably wouldn't have done it unless there was enough snow that you could have seen your tracks. I would have freaked out and said, no, we'll get lost.
Huh. So how far is it across?
From where to where?
Barnard to Bridgewater.
Gosh, I want to do it in the good weather when you could drive a Jeep. It's not far. I mean, depending on if Green Gate Road, you know where that is?
Yeah.
That comes up and over the hill through the woods and becomes Bridgewater Hollow Road.
So I guess, is there a half a mile of wilderness?
At least.
More?
Yeah. But we have a lot more research to do on foot. I'm just very, very fascinated by it. And there is actually a Four Corners called Chateauguay on the map.
Yeah.
It's really just a Four Corners. It reminded me a little of Victory, Vermont. Not a lot there. So, do you know anything about the Chateauguay on the Barnard side, since you're a Barnard resident?
I'm East Barnard resident.
What?
Yeah.
What? Are you in Pomfret?
Well, I actually live in Royalton.
You do?
I live in deepest, darkest Royalton.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm the last house in the town of Royalton, which means that I can throw a stone into Barnard, Pomfret, and Sharon from my property.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like the apex of a continent, a geographical center of the universe.
That is so cool. And my friend Davey, he lives right where Pomfret, Barnard, and Bridgewater. Is there a fourth one?
Stockbridge?
No, I think that's...
with a Pomfret line on it.
Yeah, I think he's got the three all come together. The stone's throw from his place could go into any of those three.
That's the name of my new band, Stone's Throw.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
I like that, Stone's Throw.
Yeah, it means we're almost there.
Yeah, okay.
We're close.
Right.
It means we're close.
Yeah.
Within reach somehow of something.
Okay. And so, so you live in South Royalton, but...
I live in Royalton.
You live in Royalton.
Yeah, South Royalton is this little village here.
Oh.
Royalton is the town.
Oh, okay.
The square.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, Royalton Village is up there, and South Royalton Village is here. Royalton is the whole thing.
See, we don't have that in Chelsea.
It's funny, it's the South Royalton School. It's actually the Royalton School, because it's the town of Royalton. But it isn't South Royalton, so they call it the South Royalton School. So it's
confusing.
It can be confusing if you don't speak the language.
Well, right. And did you know that Bridgewater has a Bridgewater Corners, a Bridgewater Center, a Bridgewater Hollow, a Bridgewater Hill, and North Bridgewater?
That can be confusing. You have to speak the language, I guess.
Corinth is like that. There's South Corinth and Corinth Corner and Cookville and
East Barnard, for instance.
Yes.
Is in Barnard.
Right.
The little village center is in Barnard, but but just behind the church is Pomfret.
Exactly.
And people who say they live in East Barnard, like me, I live in East Barnard. People might argue about that because I am a mile and a quarter down the road, but I live in Royalton, so I don't live in Barnard. But the people who consider themselves East Barnarders, ites or whatever we are, they go to vote for town meeting in different places, which is kind of a good way to have a cohesive community. Is you don't have to argue about that anyway.
Right. Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you this, since I think of you as a Barnard resident, and you probably act as if you are in many ways.
Well, I grew up in Barnard, in East Barnard, but I grew up within the actual town boundaries.
Okay.
In East Barnard Village.
All right.
And then I moved a mile down the brook.
I see.
So, yeah, I kind of...
Well, I thought maybe you could tell me a little bit about Barnard's secrets. What kind of secrets does Barnard have?
The lake, Silver Lake, used to be called Mud Pond.
Wow. It's a little less romantic.
Very less, yeah.
Was it muddy?
I don't know when they changed it, but my understanding is that they changed it because of tourism. And it was probably 1890s or something. They said, no.
Well, when was Sinclair Lewis living in Barnard and Dorothy Thompson? What time period was that?
I don't know.
Was that pre-tourism or was that part of tourism?
It seems like I think they lived up in there until in the 50s.
Yeah.
But I might be way off on that. I don't know.
You might be right. I think they were alive until...
maybe even later.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, when I have a gardening job at the end of Broadbrook Road in Barnard. And so all summer long I drive Broadbrook. And I look at the driveways and the little roads that come down onto Broadbrook, and I'm just filled with the sense of longing to go up them. But I know they all dead end at people's houses, and I hate going up a road that's going to dead end in somebody's dooryard.
Just say you're looking for Randy. And they go, oh, no, it's the next one up, next road up. You know where I live?
Yeah. No, I get confused because there's a couple turns. There's, and I always think, well, is it before the big farm, what is it called,
Ballamacree.
Oh, Ballamacree. Yeah. Is it before that or is it after that?
It's after that. Mine's the one where the bridge went down with a propane truck on it.
Oh.
Do you remember that? Like 15 years ago.
Oh, gosh. More. Okay. We had a propane truck incident on my road as well.
On the bridge?
Not on a bridge. It went down an embankment, and the whole town of part of Chelsea got evacuated.
Was it a propane truck?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, we could swap propane truck stories if we wanted to.
That was on the front page of the Valley News.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I miss that? 15 years ago?
Something like that. Maybe not quite.
So that was your place. What did you have to do with that?
It was my bridge.
It
was a wooden bridge made out of logs and planks that we built and from logs on the property, and it worked fine. We had no problems with it for 13 years, and then we had a big problem with it.
Ooh.
And, Did
you get in trouble for that?
Nope. I thought I was going to, and I thought somebody was going to say something, but everybody's happy just to let it go.
It's good. It's good.
Insurance even covered some of it.
Nice.
Because of the outbuildings clause or something, they gave us some money, and we got a nice bridge now. It's pretty strong.
Yeah,
we've had like 18.
Somebody replaced a bridge on one of those last year, right, or 2 years ago?
Because of Irene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't yours?
No, that was the Lovejoy Bridge.
That's it. You're not Lovejoy.
No.
Okay.
No, the Lovejoy Bridge there's one house up there. Nobody actually lives in it.
Who was giving away the free sunflowers?
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah, I gave away. What? I can't remember now. A couple thousand. Every day I'd fill up that bucket.
You gave away a couple thousand sunflowers?
Every day.
Are you in the Guinness Book of World Records?
No.
You should be.
Every day I'd pick 40 or 50 and put it in that can full of water, and
I almost
I'd come
stopped.
home and you should.
But I'm a gardener, I thought, well, at my job I can get sunflowers. I
started driving around with them. I didn't have a garden last year, so I tilled the garden and I just threw all these sunflower seeds that I had. So they came up about 4 inches apart.
Oh, wow.
The whole garden was just solid.
That sounds
So
great.
none of them got really massive in their bloom. They were all
How tall did they get?
6 or 7 feet, but spindly.
I
They were
see.
so close together.
Yep.
But that meant the blossoms were all 4, 6 inches. That was kind of the normal. Once in a while, there'd be an 8 or 10 inch one, but I didn't even pick those because they were too big. But the smaller ones they're just beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice for a bouquet. So I started filling up that bucket 2-3 times a day, and then I would load the front seat of my truck with a big arm load, and I'd drive into town, and I'd see somebody and say, "Hey, here." And I'd hand out like 10 blossoms to them. And they're like, "What? And I said, "Everybody needs sunflowers." And I'd drive away. I gave them to people I don't know.
I'm going to publish a pamphlet about all the things you've done like that. I feel like I can't quite think of what the category is, but there's a lot of things like that, like making soup on the green and things like that just are very unique to you. And I'd like to just have it recorded in a pamphlet that we could sell down at the general store.
Sell it at my museum.
Yes. Yes. And in the summer, give away sunflowers at the museum.
Well, here's I collected seeds from a lot of the sunflowers. Like, I have one of those recycling totes that's full of sunflower seeds. And they're all different. They're orange and browns.
Mixed
and,
colors.
All kinds of colors in there. And, so I'm going to plant my garden again next year with sunflowers because that was a lot of fun. But I also have I'm going to be like Johnny Sunflower. I'm going to
sewing the Lupin lady.
I'm going to mix them with a little bit of mud. I have a bucket of kind of muck.
Okay.
And stir in thousands of sunflower seeds and just go around and pack them on the side of somebody's mailbox. You know, just put a little pack of muck here and pack of muck there, pack of muck everywhere.
So people, you heard
muck,
it.
there,
You
muck
heard it
everywhere,
today.
muck.
You heard it today on 11th Hour Radio. If you find spontaneously growing sunflowers by your mailbox next year,
Yeah, it would be random acts of sunflower.
yeah. God, that's really good. Yeah, and they're so. I think that sunflowers look sometimes like they have personality as individuals.
Yeah.
I took a picture of a sunflower that I swear it looks like a teddy bear, and that's the kind of sunflower that it is.
Oh, is it called a teddy bear?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
all
called teddy
fuzzy or
bear.
something in the middle?
Yes, and it just looks like it's alive. Like it's animated.
Yeah.
But of course it's a plant.
Well, some of them have that. They all have it, but some of them are more prominent.
More vivacious.
They have that circles of the way
concentric
the seeds,
circles.
Yeah, the way the seeds are laid out.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah. It's like an optical illusion,
yeah,
sort
they're
of.
like radiating circles that overlay each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can barely see it, and other times it's just all you see. Yeah.
Oh, so you should have told that Boston Globe guy about it.
Oh, the science thing?
Yeah.
I could have gone into my Fibonacci series
Right.
lecture. And
Exactly.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time for another track of music. And just in case anybody's curious, you're listening to Royalton Community Radio, 96.5 on your FM dial. And it's WFVR, right? Yeah.
.org.
Yeah. All right. Hold on, everybody. This always takes me 10 minutes to get a song queued up. I'm so slick. All right. See if you can figure out who this is. I want you to take your time. I want you to clear your mind. I want you to go away if that's what you need today. I want you to disappear just as if I was not here. I can hold a place for you so you can do what you need to do. You can drive into the night, wake up in the motel light, gather up your things and move. Be yourself with nothing to prove.
Feel your day stretching out. No worries, free of doubt. Forget about what you lack. You know I'm gonna watch your back. It's only right, because we can love the distance. That's what we do. It's only right, because we can love the distance. It's only right. I want you to feel the rain on your face and smile again. Let the wind caress your skin. Walk and let your life begin. Shed some of the pain you wear. Release your sorrow to the air. Breathe in what for you is true. Know that I'm here for you. It's only right, because we can love the distance. That's what we do. It's only right, because we can love the distance between me and you.
That's kind of a jaunty little tune.
Very nice.
Thanks, that was me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That was called Love the Distance.
Jaunting.
I should listen to it again, because it kind of made me happy hearing the little mandolins at the end. Like, oh, I had this happy little idea.
La, da, da, da.
Yeah. Dee, da, 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 dee. You never know what you're going to do in the studio until you're there, and really depends on how you're feeling that day. So, anyway, I thought we could talk about cow tail docking.
Cow tail docking?
Well, it's...
Have you read my treatise on that?
No, I haven't. No, but
It's in the pamphlet.
Okay. All right, yet to be published. So there is new legislature that's going on. I don't know what the proper terminology, being presented at the State House to prevent cows from having their tails docked.
Who docks a cow's tail?
People do, evidently.
Yeah.
Farmers do it.
Like really short?
They just
like
cut them off without anesthesia.
They cut them off like an inch long or 2 inches long or something? So there's a little stub?
I've never looked. I'm not.
Well, they probably don't want to get whacked in the face, and then the manure spreads onto the udder, and then you get bad things in the milk.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that the Vermont legislature, I believe, is going to pass this. Huh. And Ben and Jerry's has just come out in support of it.
Yeah. Well, I could see that if you do it, there are benefits for farming, but if you do it, this seems like then the cow doesn't have their arm.
Yeah, they're missing something
they're
that
missing
they
their
that
fly
they need.
swatter.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Exactly. You know how many flies might be on a cow on any given day? There's a lot.
Yeah. And they don't. It's not like they have an arm; they can swap around there. And
That's right.
Chase them away.
Did you know that Ben and Jerry's has a what is it called? A caring. Wait a minute. Let me look it up here because I wrote it down. I thought it was cool. Caring dairy program. It's a volunteer program that some of their milk providers participate in, and there's certain requirements, and this is going to be one of them for being considered a caring dairy. So what you want to end up with is happy cows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Just FYI.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of practices that make cows uncomfortable, but make the farmers' lives easier. And
right, it's always a
production
trade-off.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's a trade-off. But today's world, we're making some steps forward to like help the farmers and help the animals, hopefully.
Yeah, good.
So, all right. So I asked you about Barnard. I just have this feeling that there's things in Barnard that I want to know about.
Well, yeah,
What else?
Barnard-
Come on, give it up. What?
Well, there's the Fable Farm and all their excitement. You want to know about that? Or you know about that?
I do know about that. I played at an event last year with Spencer Lewis.
Oh yeah.
He
The
and-
rock
there-
project there.
This was a wedding. This wasn't actually one of the
okay.
Fable Farm events.
Oh,
It
that was
was-
the only one I missed. So I thought maybe that was you were there with him. But
Yeah, I'd like
played
to
at a
play
wedding.
there.
I played at a wedding last year there too.
Isn't it wonderful? I
it's
just
a lovely
love
spot.
playing there.
I go every
much
Thursday.
fun.
I very seldom miss a Thursday.
Really?
Yeah.
I should do it because, as I told you, I work up in
Barnard. Yeah.
so I could just come over on Thursdays because usually in the middle of the summer like that, I work until 6:37 because there's so much daylight. We just
Yeah.
keep working.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
just getting going around 6:00.
Yeah.
Some people are leaving then. They've already come and got their vegetables, but I come for the sit around, music, hang out. They have a different artist or a different group every week, and then after the group is over with maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, then they have a campfire, and I sit around that fire. That's sort of my venue.
And you bring your fiddle.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
hang around the fire,
nice.
and different people show up. Usually there's some of the regulars, but we play for 2-3 hours every Thursday night.
That's super.
Even if it's raining, we get under the tent.
I would put a band together just to play there every Thursday night. I got to think about that. I should think about that.
I was thinking about this recently, that bands for weddings get hired to be under the tent, be at the head of the dance floor to get the band moving, the people moving and dancing, and but me, I couldn't have a wedding without a fire afterwards,
Yeah.
and that's where I like playing, sitting
Yeah.
around a fire. So, just in case anybody knows, John and I and Justin are ready to hire out as a wedding band by the fire.
Well, I did that once with Bo and Patrick.
Yeah.
It was down in where is St. Gaudens?
New Hampshire, Cornish.
Yes, Cornish. I think it was in Cornish. And one of the nice things is it's acoustic.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be fussing around with wires and sound systems and mics. In fact, we ended up jumping off the stage and dispensing with the sound system for some reason. I don't quite know why. I think what happened is we were under the tent, we were playing to the sound system, and people were wanting to stand at the fire. They were that was outside the tent, and of course everybody wanted to hang around the fire. It was getting late in the evening, so we just jumped down and we went out there, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I love that. I really like playing those types of events.
Yeah, we did that once in a wedding where it seemed like no one was really focused on the music, except one table that was like 3/4 of the way down the tent, and we're like, let's just go over there and play. So we just unplugged and walked over there and played around that picnic table.
Nice.
It was like a table in the tent.
Yeah.
And everybody gravitated to that.
To the table.
They wouldn't have come it wasn't a dancing crowd. They wouldn't have come up and hung around us, but when we hung around that table, then everybody came around that table.
That's it. You somehow kind of demystified it and allowed it to be a group happening.
I felt like we took the kernel of energy that was still, lively, and we just tapped into that, and then everybody else saw what was happening, and they had to be there. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of an aspect of reading the crowd.
Yeah. I think it was the best moment for me at the wedding. I don't know. I'm sure that they remembered that part because the bride's mom and dad were dancing and right there around the picnic table.
Yeah, I think people like those spontaneous music happenings that occur if the band is flexible to do that.
It's usually by the bar.
Yeah. Yeah. But I so much prefer that to just the rock and roll band that plays all the cover tunes and the DJ coming in at 9:00 and just taking over the whole scene. Mm-hmm. I guess a lot of people like that because it's become traditional as a way to round out the day after a wedding. But somehow it drives other people away, the people who don't want to dance.
Yeah, my son got married a couple of years ago, and they had was it DJ? No, they had a loop, like a iPod list.
Yeah.
And they after the band was done, they had the Starline Rhythm Boys.
Oh, good.
It was awesome.
That is so
good. When they finished, they put on this music, and I thought, well, nobody's going to do that. Everybody's going to want to go out by the fire. But whatever, they can do whatever they want. And at 3:00 in the morning, I went in, and people were still dancing to that. And there was a fire, and there were still people hanging at the fire playing music. And so it was both sides,
Yeah.
They had an option. You want to go dance? And people were wandering back and forth. You guys are still out here by the fire? Whoa, you guys are still dancing?
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's summer. It's hard to imagine summer right now.
It's hard to imagine winter right now. Actually, it's cold now, but I still feel like winter hasn't come.
Well,
somebody said Tuesday there's going to be snow. I'm hoping we're going to get 6 inches or something. So I can get some.
I hope so.
Get some cushion under my skis.
I know. We got a little more at my house than I had expected. I got maybe 6 inches the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it was an elevation event because I'm up at 1,900 feet. So that's what enabled.
We got like an inch or two.
Really? Yeah. I think it was elevation snow, but it was such a relief. And I would like more because it's still harsh when you crash on skis without enough snow.
Yeah.
It's very harsh.
That's about good for your skis. Yeah, I skied over a stone wall the other day because I thought, well, it looks like it's kind of, iced over, and I slid up on it and then stayed at the top, and I pushed off, and it was like,
that's terrible. Yeah. Oh, I got a text from Moscow.
Vermont?
That's what you might expect, but no, I got a text from Moscow, the real Moscow.
Wow.
That
Maine.
started all. Moscow. No. What do I have to say? Okay. Russia. Huh? Yeah. No, 2 a.m. My kids were in Moscow.
Oh.
I didn't know this, but they had their airplanes were routed through Moscow to get to Italy, to Rome.
From where?
I don't even know where that plane originated from.
Huh?
I didn't ask them. I just marveled at the text that I had received. So, but, all right. I guess it's time to wrap up the show, Randy.
Is that right?
Randy Leavitt. I never said your name, Randy Leavitt.
Oh my!
Thank you for being on the show. It's great.
Has been fun.
Yeah, I hope you'll come back and do it again when my co-host is unavailable, as she was today.
Oh, I could come back when she is available too, and
well, that's true.
And we could have a threesome.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be fine. You can drop in on us anytime.
Well, I know where you are now. And
yeah, and how simple it is, really. What a simple operation it is. So, okay, you've been listening to 11th Hour Radio, and we're going to go out on a track of music. Let's see, it's Chris Kleeman. I know that much. And it's called Big City Rag.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Hit the street about 7:45. All the pretty women out on a date. Well, I would have stopped to talk if I wasn't running late. But the blues have got me, yes, and they are here to stay. Came trucking on Friday, trying to make big time. Well, got in the city, mama didn't have a dime. Well, I'm gonna shake this town down, gonna make it, yes, all mine. Friday I was too drunk, Saturday was out to play, yes, sir. Sunday started in the city just cooking away. Well, our blues are here,
Yes, they are here, and the blues are here, here to stay. Rocked the city, yeah, shook it down well, playing the blues all over town. Well, I got the time, mama, got the money too. Well, I'm gonna leave you city women feeling fine. Left the city with them women feeling fine. Got back home, mama didn't have a dime. Well, these blues still got me all the time. And the blues are here, here